Because there's the reason why they got to drop hard fast.
Which is the reason why we got a lot of people joining us tonight. The actual drama taking place.
Drama.
And so we're going to talk about this a little bit. And I know there's some comments here in the chat. I'll look at those in a second. Now, instead of rehashing what's already been said, we know what's out there. And I'm trying to present this in a way to where, say it in a good way, so it doesn't sound so bad.
I have an idea. Maybe if you tell me the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad to you.
There are videos out there by an all-name Tabletop Bro, Sir Heroscape, now a Rye Guy as well, talking about this little bit of drama that's been happening in like the last 10 days or so. And not wanting to really get in deep discussion about what's already been rehashed, talked about already, I recommend everybody go to, there's links in the description below on YouTube for those videos. Check them out, form your own opinion, your own thoughts about it. And we might even have some discussion on this in the backstage. And if you guys don't know, anybody listening don't know about the ToV Backstage, it is a Discord only part of the ToV Podcast that we have additional to the ToV Podcast, which is like basically behind the paywall. You can join the Discord for free, but the Backstage itself is usually behind the paywall, which we'll probably get into more depth on that. Link to the Discord below on YouTube as well, or Discord, Patreon, which we're doing. So, but what we're going to talk about when it comes to this situation with Renegade and the controversy, we're going to do 3 points that I thought was probably interesting that weren't really discussed much about so far. So let's get into the first point with this. All right. While I take a drink, hold on. Okay. So, and this was my initial thought as well when all this news came out, was that what is, like, think worst case scenario here, okay? If anything that's been rumored to be said comes to pass, and that's the worst case scenario, and all that comes to pass, how do we handle it, and what do we do? And let's start first with Josiah.
Starting first.
Yeah, and
right.
like worst case scenario, like what should we do as individuals and as a community with this? I mean, does it really stop anything? I think it hurts a bit, but what are your thoughts that what we could do as a community and as ourselves individually about it before my voice goes? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a lot of different thoughts on the post itself. I don't like a post without a thesis or really a point of action. So worst case scenario is that essentially your old units are ineffective and that this game is just a completely different experience. And I guess that's the hypothetical. That's what most people are afraid of. I don't know. It's hard for me to make an evaluation until I see what results in, because honestly, like, you have to try pretty hard to make something not compatible with your old stuff. Like, Heroscape's a very that's why most people love it. It's a sandbox as well as a system. You know, everyone can make their own custom fairly easy. So the worst case scenario is that they do a run and you get a bunch of cool figures and they cancel it after the first release, and then the community will just kind of continue where it's at. So I don't want to underblow things, but worst case scenario is we tried it out and we just pick up where we left off with some new figures to use, and if it's completely unworkable, I think we'll find a way to make it work.
For sure. Any other thoughts on this, Jeremy?
Yeah, I just I don't know. It's difficult to say because I know the conversation has been going on about how, yeah, if it ends up becoming a entirely separate game, like you can't use your classic pieces with it, or they didn't playtest the classic with it, so it's like nothing matches very well. You're trying to do your compositions, and it's like, oh, their version doesn't really work with what we used to have. It's just like, at best, like, whoever wants to use those characters can, kind of thing, but we'll probably end up having to, put some rules in tournaments and be like, look, this doesn't really match up in terms of like, competitive scene and whatnot. And then they're probably, because they already said they already have plans for organized play, so chances are they're just going to do their own, like, and this is kind of separate topic, but like, they're already going to be doing their own thing, right? So it's like, at best, we could probably just do our own thing, do it the way we've done it before. Like, that hasn't changed, probably won't change, because heck, there's still people I meet that don't want to use Dungeons and Dragons characters at all, and it's like they stick to wave 1 through 9 and the master sets, and it's like, so we have all kinds of individuals and preferences in terms of units and drafting, and if Renegade doesn't match up with what we have grown to play and understand rules wise, mechanics wise, and whatever, we're probably just going to consider it just in the same vein, like, oh, hey, if you want to play Renegade, you can. If you don't want to, we're not going to force you, either way. Because I mean, think about it, there's people that are using the Arena of the Planeswalkers, like, there's an actual group that uses Arena of the Planeswalkers characters as Heroscape. Like, they were working right now to kind of mesh the two, and that's a very niche group, because it's like a lot of people who saw Arena of the Planeswalkers. Yeah, right. Like, it's just, the thing is, the people that will like it will play it, and the people that don't like it will not play it. You know what I mean? And I think even if it comes out to be good, we'll probably still have that, because then people will be like, well, it's not Classicscape, or it's not, what we knew from Wave 9 or Wave 13, or, everybody's got what they enjoy the most, and they know their preferences, they know what they like to play, and we'll probably all just kind of filter into those categories like we naturally do, like we've always been doing. And I think Renegade's going to find that out. Like, if they want their stuff to match better with what is already available on the market, then they got to do some playtesting with the classic. And that's considering rumors, like, if that's not what they're doing right now, they're going to find that their characters won't work really well with what we know in the past. And then we'll have another group of people playing those characters, and then we might have a Renegade customs group, because that's how that kind of is born from that concept, because it's like, if that's going to be a separate thing. But yeah, like I said, I think mainly the main point is that if it works, it'll stay with everything else. We'll keep playing the game as we've always had. If it doesn't work, it's just going to create a niche community, just like the others have, just like, Rain and Planeswalkers, D&D Scape, all that stuff. And yeah, life will go on, and we'll just keep playing Heroscape, because that's the thing. Heroscape's not dying. Like, it never died. Like, we've been playing this whole time. It's just, you get another option now. Another. Hey, you want to try this out? Oh, it doesn't really work out. All right, back to Wave 9. Things like that. So that's what I've seen from it. Yeah, it would, and like Rai Guy's saying, if the backlash is so bad it actually causes a negative experience, I would feel sad. But I think a lot of people, especially a lot of the old-time community members, are really, really good at maintaining like community events, community spirit, and we'll probably just be like, you know what, let's keep going. We still got the website up, things like that, and just keep doing our thing. So.
Yeah, I guess the worst case scenario would be Renegade says you can't 3D print, you can't really check out Heroscapers, and then they cancel the line. You're just like, that's the ultimate. I don't think it would ever go that low, but that'd be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Right? They just lock the IP. That would be wild.
Now,
I'm like, oh my goodness.
And I'll ask Jason a question, kind of a different thought on this subject. Now, when it comes to like. Jason, when it comes to, because I know like you're a casual player, you're not really in Heroscape tournament scene. For like casual that aren't part of the tournament community, or the or new players, do you think, based on these rumors, again, if these rumors are false, then then they're false. But if there's any validity to these rumors, do you think Renegade is going to have a challenge when it comes to introducing new players to the current community, or casual players to the current community, or do you think they could keep that isolated?
I think there is a challenge where if Renegade here kind of basically throws the old community under the bus, that's going to create a lot of negative commentary online and possibly in person, to where, you know, some new players looking at has the box of Age of Annihilation in their hand, and some guy comes up to him and say, yeah, well, they screwed us over, we don't like them, or something like that. It's not going to be, you know, a good thing to do that to the Heroscape community, but the problem that the challenge that Renegade has, we know from Age of Annihilation, that the Heroscape community itself may not be enough to sustain the game as it is anyway, so they got to do a lot of marketing to new players and get new players in the game, have them even survive. So it's a very fine balance they have to walk. It really is. Yeah. Can they do it? Yes. If we go back 20 years to MechWarrior Dark Age, that game was a bit of a screw you to the classic Battletech community. Those of us who played it, who were Battletech fans, we kind of tolerated it, but it definitely was not Battletech in any way, shape, or form. But it lasted for a couple of years kind of as its own thing, so it can happen. And there was very similar attitudes towards that game from existing Battletech players at the time, as we kind of see right now with Heroscape players and these rumors. So a game can survive, but yeah, it's not a great thing for them to do. But they got a lot of challenges ahead of them.
Joe, what do you think about that when it comes to casual players or new players?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the greatest fear and it being talking to the casual newcomers, or, you know, I think of my girlfriend's nieces and nephews that I've been trying to introduce Heroscape to, and they're like, they look at the board, they look at the figures, like, oh my god, that's awesome, you know, whatever. They don't know the nuances of why I should pick the axe grinders over the nids. And why does Joe like the nids way more than these axe grinders? You know, like that whole thing, right? Like, they're gonna see the new stuff. Kids are gonna, you know, speaking to the new generation of people being introduced to Heroscape, they're gonna see the models, they'll see the terrain, they're like, oh, this is awesome. You know, mommy, daddy, please, can I have this awesome game? And they're gonna go, sure, no problem. Their parents are not gonna know what it is. They're gonna pick it up, they're gonna put it down, they're gonna open it up, they're gonna play it, and then go, this is boring. That's my fear. like they, if any of these rumors are true, and they start playing the game, and they're like, I love this model, I want to play this model, and they learn how to play the game, and they go, this is boring. And they just never play it again. I don't know, I'm gonna blow up.
That's a fear. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like, how dare you say this game is boring? How dare you? Like, how could they really make this game boring? So yeah, that's ugh.
At least it makes it feel any better. That challenge is not unique to Heroscape. It's the problem that every tabletop game developer could possibly have.
Right.
I mean, no, true. Yeah, no, definitely.
At least you got the sale, though. That's the important part. If they buy the miniature,
they bought it.
Find it boring. Well, Renegade still made some money.
No, for sure. I mean, you look at what game do you guys all know? Is Fallout 76? Does anyone know what Fallout 76 is?
Yeah,
that's the last game I ever pre-ordered. I never pre-ordered a video game.
That's hilarious.
And I guess let me say, the reason why I say that is not because the game necessarily bad. I had no one to play it with. I didn't know that it's going to be some MMO thing. I was hoping to be more cooperative, old school Fallout. But anyway.
True.
That is
but like, you know, that game did get better over patches over time, but that came out as a buggy mess. So they got all the sales, and then people started to stop play it and realized it was trash. So
right.
That's
it definitely depends on how Renegade views this. Is this a just a flash in the pan, quick money scheme, get the people who are heavily invested, Or do they have like a long term? This is an
Yeah.
event game. This is going to be the next Warhammer.
Right.
This is going to be the
I
next.
hope not, because that
D&D
first
again.
is a very hard approach. That's not probably the best approach on things. That's building something to fail.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
approach
it definitely
that way.
is.
Wait, wait, for which format?
The first one that he mentioned.
Oh yeah. Because like I mean,
Just trying to
even
make
yeah.
quick
Yeah.
bucks or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that.
I mean, no, I mean, there's you have to try really hard for that to kind of come see through.
Yeah.
Right. And
I do like what Rye Guy said about the new members of the community. I do. That's what I was really looking forward to, is to getting some new blood, new people in, some new perspectives. And I would hate for that door to be getting closed off because one, we as a community are just so bent backwards about the new designs that we just close anyone off, or the new designs are so bent backwards themselves that no one wants to play them. So
Right.
it's definitely it's a tightrope.
Right. But I think overall, I think you guys have it right to where the community involved will be, good or bad, will be one of the driving forces to make anything happen. So we just gotta continue sticking with it, and like we said in the comment, being that community that is very open to new players and willing to share and willing to want your opposing player to be the best that they can be, for sure. So I hope we continue as a community to do that.